All right. Hello, everyone. We are back for some semifinal action for the Cargill division. We're going to have the Venom taking on the Rock and Rollers, a little bit of an east-west battle. I'm joined here today with Steve, and as Henry likes to say, we've scraped the bottom of the barrel to have him joining us as well. How are you guys doing
Wow.
tonight?
Wow.
Hey,
I'm
you
pretty
said that
much
last time.
it's pretty much true, isn't it? Nobody else volunteered to do this job, so well
Here you are.
it's not technically a job if we're volunteering, is it? Well, at least two
I
of
mean,
us are, right, Steve?
I mean, yeah.
That's all good.
Nope, looking forward to it. Some Wednesday night playoff bowling. It's two great teams. It'll be fun.
Yeah, for sure. Super
It'll be really
excited
good.
to watch these matches today. Just for a reminder for everyone, we have the Venom taking on the Rock and Rollers. So it's a two-game match. Total points. If we need to go to a tiebreaker, it'll be going to pinfall. And I would bring up our standings or like our playoff brackets and what it's sort of looking like, but we don't have the graphic here because somebody forgot to upload it. Not me, I promise it was not me.
Oh, okay, then.
Um, you can't
Was it
blame me.
Mitch? Was it Mitch? Because he
No.
always forgets to do stuff.
Or Carrie, I'm not sure. It's okay. We're not going to name any names. It's
Okay.
fine. We have
Okay,
lots
fair.
of playoff action going though. Steve will be joining us. Probably in the next couple weeks here with his team taking on who are you guys playing? That's terrible. I don't remember.
We're playing the winner of this match.
Oh, you're playing the winner of this match. Okay, my memory is shot right now, clearly. And they'll be playing in the league semifinals, the division finals. So that'll be taking place after this match
Perfect.
today, and we'll be seeing how things sort of progress. And then on the other side, I know they have some matches coming up as well. So before we get into things here, just wanted to give a big shout out to everybody who competed in Regina this past weekend at Nationals. We had lots of our 5-pin league athletes joining us there. So big kudos to lots of those folks and those who won medals, all of that fun stuff. But with that, we will bring in our coaches so that we can chat to them before we get into the bowling. $40. All right. Hello, Rhonda. Hello, Shane. How are you guys doing tonight?
Wow.
I was going to say, we have quite the big time difference here today. It is, what time is it in BC right now? Just
Four.
after 4?
Just after
and
4.
then
Yep.
Yeah.
for you guys in Newfoundland, it's like 8:30?
8:30.
Yeah, I can imagine. So how are you guys feeling for these matches here today?
Oh, we're feeling good. I mean, it's been a while for us. We had a break, and of course the bye helps. But no, we're ready to go. We had a few of our guys away at the I think 4. That's the 6. We're away at Nationals, so they're all fresh, and the rest of us got to catch up.
Yeah,
Nice.
for sure. And you guys, Rhonda?
Yeah, we're good. We had a couple of weeks off. Bob was at Nationals, but the rest of us were just around waiting for the match to come. And we've been here for about an hour and all ready to go.
Yeah, so Rhonda,
Perfect.
did most of you guys just head there straight from work to bowl today?
Yeah. Bob fortunately has the day off on Wednesdays, and the rest are left work early to get here so that we could get it on a decent schedule for Newfoundland. And yes.
Yeah, for sure. And then Shane, have you guys just been hanging out before you guys have got to bowling, go for dinner, anything, or do you guys just come to the lanes like an hour ago, warm up?
Yeah, no, we came about an hour ago. We're having some issues there now. Like our lane 5 seems to be broke, so we're going to switch to lane 4.
Okay.
So we might need a couple of seconds to just move cameras, but other than that, it should be really quick.
Okay, that is no problem. Thank you for letting me know. So you said lane 4, right? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, we'll be on lane 4. So they might have
Okay.
the cameras moved now, but I'll
I can see it now on my end. Yeah, that things have changed.
Okay.
So getting into lineups, Shane, what's your lineup looking like?
We're going to go with Brandon Tibbs on leadoff, and then Brandon Smith second, Courtney Lucas, myself, Brad Glenn, and we got Mitchell Williams and Katie Wells on the bench.
Awesome. And then yourself, Rhonda?
We got Aaron, Mike, Maddie, Bob, Jesse, and Marco and myself on the bench.
Awesome.
Perfect.
All right. Well, with that, we'll let you guys go, and we look forward to some good bowling. Best
Good
of
luck,
luck.
guys.
Yeah, good
Awesome.
luck,
Thanks,
Shane.
guys.
Good luck. Thank you.
All right, so I'll quickly run through our rosters here. So for the Fraser Valley Venom, we have Bob Herman, Aaron King, Maddie Harms, Mike Warren, Jesse Bailey, Marco Sang, Dakota Heth, Rhonda McDougall, obviously coached / managed by Rhonda as well, and they're bowling at Scottsdale Lanes. And then for the Rock and Rollers on the complete opposite end of the country in St. John's, Newfoundland,
Oh,
we have Shane Chafe, oh my God, Chaff, Shane Chafe, Brandon Tibbs, Brad Glynn, Brandon Smith, Mitchell Williams, Courtney Lucas, and Katie Wells, again managed by Shane, and they're bowling out of Plaza Bowl. So with that, I think everything is looking good for the cameras now. Keeping in mind that
I
they
like
did have that technical difficulty.
right. I like the name Shane Chaff. That's what I'm just going to call him from now on.
Shane Chaff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Shane's gonna like that I messed up his name like that.
He's
but
all
it's
the way in
okay.
Newfoundland. What's he going to do about it?
Well, yeah, the next time he sees me, beats me up or something.
Not if I'm the one that's calling him and not you, right?
Okay, that's
Fair?
true. That is true. I was the one to initially say it, though.
Right. Yeah, maybe I'll see him in Nebs.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe.
Quite possibly. He usually comes down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should
And
be
again,
a-
as I was, sorry,
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, again, as we heard sort of Shane talking about, and I was, mentioning nationals just having happened in Regina this past weekend. I'm just going to give them the go ahead here. Good to go. Just want to make sure people know that they can actually start bowling.
I think Brandon was ready to go before you even said.
Okay, well, Brandon can just read my mind, I guess, apparently. Sorry, as we were saying though, and I mean, Shane mentioned that 4 of their bowlers were just at nationals for Open Nationals in Regina, and then we had Bob Herman who was there as well representing BC. So, the teams might have had a couple weeks off before they're taking each other on as we continue through the playoffs here. But lots of bowling still taking place, right? Nobody's really finished for the season yet.
Well, that is true, isn't it? And then you think you're
Yeah.
off for a little bit, and you start the next tournament, and you got Nebs.
Yeah,
and
that's
you've
how I
got,
feel these days.
Oh
It's-
goodness!
I used to take the summers off, and now I'm like, well, no, I guess bowling is a year-round thing for me these days.
Pretty much.
It really has turned into that. It used to be where the year basically ended with Open and Masters Nationals.
Yeah.
But now with the WCBT Tour Finals, with the Club Tour at Nebs, and all the other events, definitely a year-round sport.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely not
Well,
going to
then-
complain about that, but
Yeah, and then you've got Pro League, right? So you've got the double relegation rounds. They're going to go into the summers at some point. So yeah, there's there's a fair amount of bowling still.
yeah. It's a good thing that we all love bowling. Clearly, that's why
Yes.
we're here
Correct.
on a beautiful sunny Wednesday evening rather than, being outside doing things. And a great ball from Maddie Harms picking things up there on the Venom side.
So no surprise with the Venom lineup. That's the lineup they've been using the last several weeks. Bit of a slow start to the season for them, but they won 4 of their last 5 games, including going 7-1, 7-1 with, I think, about 2,900 the last 2 games just to get into the playoffs. And then, of course, in the one and done 4-5 match, they knocked off the Misfits with a really good game. I think it was 14-20 to 13-40.
Yeah,
Something like
no,
that.
Mhm.
definitely finished off the season really, really strong. Knew exactly what they needed to do to get into the playoffs in that final spot, going 7-1, 7-1 in that last week. I'm sure making some people a little bit disappointed that they weren't making it into the playoffs and delivering a few spoilers, but certainly really exciting and some great bowling for them. And it's a little bit of a contrast to the Rock and Rollers who we saw just absolutely dominate the entire season, right?
Well,
And it's no surprise that they're here today. But it'll be
they
interesting to
they
see.
had a really strong year this year, really strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got off to a really good start and pretty much coasted the way home. They went 8-4 on the year. I know they won, I think it was 5 of their first 6. They averaged 264 as a team, averaging 1322. And looking at their scores through the year, they only had 2 games under 1284 of their 12 games.
Wow.
Yeah, only 1 game under 1200, and luckily that was against us.
Mhm.
But yeah, and then the Venom averaged 267 this year. So you think of the strength of the league. They went 7-5 this year, averaging 267 as a team.
Wow.
Yeah, so you
There's
can't
no
ask for
doubt. Go on.
I was gonna say you can't ask for much better than that, right? When you're looking at your team and their record for the season.
Yeah, there's no doubt the league has gotten stronger, or also it's maybe not necessarily stronger, but they've gotten used to not having people around to pump them up like at open, or they just, it's a tough league to bowl in as it is. And they've got, the teams are getting better and better and better every year. It seems that way to me.
Yeah, I know a couple weeks ago we had a big discussion about how self-motivating bowling in this league is and how much you have to be there to, pump your teammates up, but also pump yourself up, because oftentimes, it can only be you in the lanes bowling. I mean, I think about the teams here in Calgary, say at Toppler, it might just be them bowling on a Sunday morning. Or, Steve, thinking about you guys at Nebs, there might be birthday parties or other things going on, right? Like there's still energy in the building, but it's not necessarily the same energy that you would normally see, like bowling on a team at the Open or Masters or anything like that. So,
Yeah,
Right.
oftentimes there's 48 lanes of bedlam around us, and there's us bowling, and it's kind of funny because people get inquisitive because Jeff puts the YouTube feed right up on the big monitors, so usually we get people kind of paying attention, but like you said, whether the bowling center is empty or whether it's full, just of people not knowing what you're doing.
what on earth is going on? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but all the teams have adapted very well to the format because it is different, I think, for new teams.
Yeah, I think the first year in the league, it was really difficult. You didn't realize how much self-motivated you had to be. So when you do have a house where it's got some people in it, it's awesome. Or we're making lots of noise at one end, and it's kind of open bowling, and you kind of get people standing behind you, seeing the cameras and the flashes, and then you get a little bit more motivation because you want to show people how well the league is and stuff. So
You want to impress the 6-year-olds that are watching you. That's,
that's what I aim for, is pressing the kids, because I can't beat the adults.
But it has been fun because a couple times we've had YBC tournaments beside us, so it kind of sparks their interest, and shows, gives them something to aspire to.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. So things slowing down a little bit on the bottom half of the lineups on both sides here. I mean, still obviously lots of game left, so lots of marks working, and I anticipate that we'll see these teams bouncing back pretty quickly in the third frame here.
And this is obviously a match play league, so it's 1 point and 3 points for total.
Yep.
And then at the tie at the end of the second game, they do another game. Then how does it work?
If it's tied in points and pinfall.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah. A tie in points goes to pinfall first. If pinfall's tied, then you play another game.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope for another game, because I have nothing better to do for 3 hours.
Say, I don't know about you, but I want to go enjoy some sunshine. So, be nice to be done before the sun is set.
It's way too hot outside.
So you can say that. I'm like a lizard. I like being outside in the sun.
So quickly looking at the season numbers for the Venom, Aaron King averaged 287 for 86 frames with 7 wins. Mike Warren 271 for the year. Matt Harms 265. Bob 272. Jesse 274. Marco hasn't played a whole lot, just 41 frames, a little over 200. Rhonda, same thing, but she's 252 for the year, and Dakota played few games at start of the year, 256 for her. And for the Rock and Rollers, an unbelievable year for Shane Chafe, 308.6 average for 112 frames with 10 wins.
Wow.
The Brandons, Tibbs and Smith, 253 and 252. Brad Glenn, 276. Courtney, 250. Mitchell, 248.7. And Katie, 225.
Yeah, so definitely some great bowling all around. And I don't expect tonight to be any different from how we've seen both of these teams play throughout the season. I mean, the Venom finishing off so strong, and the Rock and Rollers being quite dominant throughout the entire season. So
What was the high average this year? Was it Shane Chafe?
I'm pretty sure it's Shane. If I'm not I looked today, and I think it is Shane.
Oh, now I can't bug him that much. Jeez.
I mean, you can still bug him.
Well, and I probably will.
I would
Actually,
just
not probably. I know I will.
safer from a distance, though.
So I'm sure, as everybody is aware, I'm usually not the stats person when we're on stream. I always use the excuse that I don't do math on the weekends, but since it's a weekday, I guess technically I could be doing math and figuring out the numbers for these games. But it's always great when we have somebody like
That's
Steve
okay.
on the stream.
We have Steve.
Yeah, we have Steve. Yeah.
We have Steve. Steve, we're happy you're here.
Steve, the stats guy.
We actually had a few people over 300 on the season. We're just looking at it now. Shane Chafe, 308.6 with 10 wins. Michaela, in a rookie year for Toppler, playing anchor most of the year, 295 with 10 wins.
Yeah.
Justin Langrock, another rookie, 286 with 10 wins. Bradley Tickett, 302 for the year for 90 frames. Mark Steves, 300 for 110 frames. Tyler Tickett,
A great ball
303.
from Brad there.
Oh,
And Colton Uswa, 303. So several people over 300.
averaging for the year. Wow.
So some
Those
pretty
are
awesome bowling.
self-motivators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely self-motivators, that's for sure. So we're seeing quite a few head pins here on both sides, but the Rock and Rollers, picking Courtney up a little bit there in the middle of the lineup with those other strikes, have that double working and those 3 other single strikes. Jesse's going to be looking to pick her team up a little bit here, bounce back from that missed chop off spare. I mean, it looked like it might carry both pins, but it didn't, unfortunately. And that's a great shot from Jesse.
That list of names with the 300 average bowlers there, those really are self-motivators. When you talk about Colton and Bradley and Tyler, like those guys know how to self-motivate. So this is a great league for some of those guys that can just get up and pump their tires and go.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not sure Shane pumps himself up. He's kind of even keel on or off the lane. I haven't really seen him get too excited.
Another
followed
great
by
ball for
Brandon.
Brandon there. Yeah.
And Brandon has another brother, Justin Tibbs, and he's a terrible bowler, in case anybody was wondering.
I'm sure that Justin is going to be so happy that you shared that on the stream.
Oh, he knows it. He doesn't. Anybody listening in Newfoundland already knows.
The entire province knows this. So Aaron with the cleanup there is going to have a little bit of work to do here with that open in 4 against Brandon's double that he has working. So big shout out to, Brad Glynn on the Rock and Rollers. This year at the C5 events, there is a new sportsmanship award that's being given to athletes. We saw it given for the first time at U Challenge Nationals here in Calgary. And then at Open Nationals, we had one award given for each of the team events, so mixed men's and ladies, and then also for the singles competition. And Brad Glynn was the recipient of the sportsmanship award for the singles competition. I mean, seeing him cheering on his competitors, just being such a positive force in the pit all week was really special and definitely really deserving of that award.
Nice.
Yeah, certainly well deserved with Brad. And goes to show too, because nobody's more intense on the lanes than he is.
Yeah.
But that's the great thing about our sport. You fight like hell when you're on the lanes, and the second you're off the approach.
You're cheering everybody else.
Yeah. So we have to wonder here if we might be seeing a change with Bobby. I mean, Steve, coming from your manager sort of perspective, what are you thinking when you see somebody go up and have, 3 head pins in the first 4 frames?
Yeah, usually the rule of thumb for me is 3 misses or 3 opens,
Hmm.
kind of. But again, that's my philosophy. I've noticed I'm much more aggressive than other people, but um, sometimes it's hard for me to comment because I don't know the dynamic on each team and how everybody else is feeling, stuff like that.
I would say, well, speak of the devil, we just got notice that we are going to see a substitution in that 5th frame. We're going to have Marco going in for Bob.
Yep. And the other fascinating thing for me with both teams is both teams have player managers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Rhonda, for the most part, hasn't started very much, so I think she kind of on the manages and throws herself in when needed.
Yeah.
But I've always, I mean, Shane just tells it like it is anyway. But I've always kind of admired his ability to be able to manage, because I know as a manager, like especially in a 2-game match like this, when you get late in the game, you've got decisions going on. You're trying to think of what lineup you're going to use next game, all your different scenarios, and to play at a high level
Mm-hmm.
while you're doing that is something else.
Yeah, definitely a really interesting sort of skill to be able to juggle all of those things at once, right?
I think it would be easier, being that Shane's skill set, like, averaging, almost the highest in the league. It's definitely a little easier if you're on the team going, well, if Shane, he's the player manager because he is so good. I think if you had,
Mm-hmm.
maybe an average manager, it's not quite the top bowler on the team. It might be a little bit more, I don't know, difficult. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's like, the average player on the team telling Connor McDavid he's not skating very fast or skating very well. Like he's the fastest skate. You know what I don't know. That's just the way I would see it. Unless you're a full manager and not a player manager, then it doesn't really matter, right? You're
Yeah,
doing what's
no,
in the
there's,
best interest for the team.
there's definitely something to that. I've also wondered. I've also wondered in the past whether he's pulled himself quicker than he normally would pull someone else, or hesitate to put himself in just because he is the manager.
Right. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And
Kind of
maybe
so you
it
don't
might have
look like
hurt.
you're playing favorites. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting dynamic and could be something that would be sort of fun to chat to the different sort of managers and the different kind of roles that they sort of have, if it's dual player manager role, just a manager, and
See,
how
I
that sort of,
think we're seeing a move on the other side too as well.
yeah, I think we see
Courtney started,
Katie's.
started with the double and then the head pin, and then she's kind of lost it here for a few balls.
Yeah, so we'll see Katie Wells going in for Courtney in the final ball of that 5th frame. Throwing a nice good shot before the 3-minute commercial break comes up here. Hopefully she can sort of keep that going, keep things working in that 3rd spot after the commercial. I mean, Matt on the Venom side also had an open there, so she's only back by 12 sticks. I mean, it's still a really close match, that's for sure. And again, we see Marco in for Bobby in that 5th frame after those unfortunate head pins to sort of start things off. Shane just doing what Shane does, as we were saying, getting
Yeah.
up there and just throwing absolute bombs,
Hey, Bales.
walking
Yeah.
off the lane. Yeah. I
He'd
guess it
make a
does
really
make
good
managing
Yeah, definitely a lot easier. He would make a
makes
good
managing
farmer in
easier when he throws
Alberta.
strikes.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, another great ball
And
from Brad there.
Brad doing Brad things. So
Yeah, of course. So we'll let the Venom finish off the 5th frame here. I mean, definitely slowing down a little bit. Jesse's going to be looking to sort of bounce back, get some marks working, especially looking across at Brad's, turkey, that double working for him at the bottom. But in terms of scores, we have 629 for the Rock and Rollers. That's 2 spares working and then a pair of doubles working as well. And then on the Venom side, likely just be over 500. It's a great ball from Jesse, just not quite enough to get the push. And then they have that strike and that double working. And then we'll see what Jesse does here.
And as we've seen in previous match, every point matters.
Yep, for sure. Ooh. So the Venom are definitely going to be looking to sort of regroup here. I think it was you, Henry, last time saying, you can have a little group hug.
Go have a little group hug. Yep.
Have a little group hug, have a minute, just sort of get things back and settled. So again, Rock and Rollers with 629 total heading into the break to 509 for Venom. We'll be back very shortly.
Cargill is proud to be supporting a truly Canadian sport like 5-pin bowling. We look forward to watching some great competition from many competitors and bowling centres across our country. With hundreds of locations across Canada, Cargill is committed to helping the Canadian farmer thrive. Whether it is selling commodities, getting agronomic advice, fertilizer needs, crop protection, and marketing expertise, Cargill is here to help. So please enjoy this bowling. Thank you.
Financial freedom begins with financial literacy.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I'm thrilled to be a sponsor. My journey began as a teacher because of my deep passion for education. I brought that same passion into the financial world to help families achieve financial freedom. Financial freedom isn't just about having more, it's about knowing more. That's why I'm here to help you make smart decisions with insurance, investing, and lending, all in one place. I'm Dave, and together we'll help you achieve financial freedom.
And we're back again. Somebody jumping around in the pit there, which is always really funny.
That's a long commercial break.
It is a
I'm
long
tired.
commercial break. And when
I had to go get.
when I was
I had to go get a
doing
beer.
of course, when I was doing
Wait.
the Schwartz division a couple weeks ago, the commercial breaks is a little bit shorter. And I had left the room to go get some water or something, and all of a sudden I started hearing the Bradson promotional part of the commercial, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta get back!"
Yes, I do use the music as a cue too if I
Yeah.
have to stop somewhere else.
My fridge is only like 10 feet away, so I just ran, grabbed a beer, and then sat back down and waited patiently. That's how come I know they're so long.
I was gonna say it took you a lot of, restraint to not open your beer until we were actually back on the stream because we had to hear you crack it open.
Yeah, well, it's good bowling. You gotta have a beer while you're watching people bowling.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was in Newfoundland, I'd be getting ready to crawl into bed. It's bedtime. They don't look like they're ready for bed. Started off with a couple of strikes there, and
No, they're all fueled up, ready to go.
Um,
I mean, I never want to complain about bowling bad, but I do find sometimes in the evenings, if you're playing in a tournament or whatever, and you bowl really well, winding down to sleep can be so difficult.
yes, you are not wrong.
Yeah.
I bowl a Sunday match play league, and it goes late sometimes. And if you have one of those nights where you're on fire, I get home and I can't sleep for an hour at least.
Yeah.
Good half there by Mike to stay neck and neck with Smitty.
Yeah, so Venom's definitely going to have to put in a little bit of work here in the second half with the Rock and Rollers just sort of keeping things going. Matt definitely has an opportunity here, so we'll see if he can cover that half with Katie having an open frame in 6 as well.
And so again, totals right now about 150 for the Rock and Rollers. But as we've seen in the playoffs, every point is important.
Mhm.
Only in the next gen match where they had 1,500 and won the first game huge, and then had a bigger 1,500 the second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other two playoff matchups, including us and the Roses, we got killed the first game 7-1 and snuck out 7.5 the second game to advance. And then we saw a similar thing in the Battle of Manitoba last week or the week
Yeah.
before, where the Avalanche won the first game, but Dynamite came back huge
Right.
in game 2.
Yeah, no, definitely huge, sort of as much as we're looking for those points first. If needed, it does come down to total. So you want to make sure that you're getting as many sticks as you can, keeping things as close as possible, because we have seen it before in this league. I mean, in the past few weeks here, we've seen it in the playoffs already.
Oh,
and Jesse just getting absolutely roasted. I like to say that's a bit of a glitch in the matrix when the ball just sort of disappears behind the 2-pin and you don't carry it. Always sucks when you throw a great ball and that happens.
I was told that's a penalty shot for missing the middle of the first ball.
Yes, that's what my mom always told me growing up as well.
I don't. I think that's dumb. We should change that.
So what do you think we should call it?
Oh, I just call it bad luck.
Okay.
No, it's called hitting on the first ball.
Yeah, I was like, you hit the middle of the first ball.
See, Aaron hit the middle with the first ball.
You hit it on the first ball, you still get a count, and you have a chance at the spare.
Well, Aaron hit it with his first ball, and now he has no chance for the spare and 5
Well,
counts,
don't say
which
that.
is the same count that Jesse had if she would have had a mark. Oh, I would have loved for him to spare it.
That would have been hilarious.
The reverse commentator's curse, right?
Yeah. So again, Mike has a little bit of an opportunity here to make a move on Smitty with that head pin in that 7th frame. So we'll see what he can get going here. And then obviously Matt as well. Katie having that open in the 6th frame and Matt having that spare working. So maybe make a little bit of ground up here. And a great ball from Mike.
Yep, and that's what you got to tell yourself if you're the Venom now, that you're in pretty good shape in 2 matches, or you're in 2 matches. just chip away, get what you can at the end. So as we've seen, anything can happen in game 2. It's not easy to close someone out.
Yeah. And Shane back on the side of the head pin
Back
there.
on it.
Yeah, doing Shane things.
Making
Keeping
those
things
big,
working
big
there.
heavy balls look like they're just wiffle balls the way he throws them.
I know. I could never throw like a 5-inch ball. I've tried, but I cannot. I have big hands too, and people are like, "Oh, why do you throw like a tiny little ball?" I'm like, "Well,
I
I
cannot
would
hang on to a 5-inch bowling ball either.
no, I can't." I was like, sometimes my mom will throw a 5-inch ball, and she is a very small woman, with very small hands, and I don't understand that.
Yeah. I used to when I was younger, but I just cannot. I can't get the finish in. I can't get under them anymore.
Yeah. Oh, and that's a great ball for Jesse there. Much better frame for the Venom with those 4 strikes working. That one double for Marco. And so the Rock and Rollers running into a little bit of headpin trouble, just those 2 headpins in that second and anchor spot. So we'll see what the Venom can do here as we are getting into the final few frames of the first match.
Got to keep the pressure on him.
Yeah, for sure. And another great ball from Brandon, kind of what we're expecting.
Another great shot for Aaron after his 2 headpins coming back there. Some life here for the Venom. Got a bit of momentum going. Chance for Mike to pick up some ground here.
Ooh.
Oh, and Smitty gets sort of, I don't want to say a penalty shot. Just gets a
No,
little bit taps there.
I
The
mean,
3-pin just sort of rolls and doesn't take that deuce out for him.
to me, that's more of a penalty shot than the 5-8. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that because throwing the 3-3 on the first ball always
Be a
feels really
penalty shot.
penalty.
But I mean, and then
Yeah,
it's a super spare because you get it. Matt's
true.
another one. He is always at WCBT finals. He's always in the
Yeah.
last 2 or 4 bowlers. He is just, when it's crunch time, he can throw.
And always makes it look ho-hum.
Yes.
Yeah, you could never tell if he's on a 5-bagger, if he just
It's
threw a
totally
gutter
true.
ball. Like, you'd never know what's going on with
Yeah.
him. Not that I've ever seen the latter happen, but like you could never tell. He's just so even Steven on the lanes.
Well, he may have done it, but you wouldn't have known because he looks the same as if he's
True.
throwing 5 in a row
Yeah, I wouldn't
or a
have.
gutter ball. You're totally right.
Yeah, you're right. I could have been in the lanes, and it could have happened. This is like Schrodinger's gutter ball.
Same
So the
covers a
Venom
half.
definitely, yeah, Shane covers that half, and the Venom definitely turning up the heat here a little bit. They have those 3 doubles already working, that 1 strike up top for Aaron, and then we'll see what Jesse does here. Rock and Rollers, just keeping things sort of rolling. A few of those head pins and that 1 open frame in the second spot there for Smitty, but definitely making things interesting here.
Mm.
Another great ball for Jesse.
Making things very interesting here.
Yeah, definitely breathing a little bit of life into the Venom side of things with those 4 doubles working, right?
Yep, and you've got to look at it as it's 2 games, almost as 1 big game. So even if you finish big, you can carry that momentum over. But still, lots of time and lots of points to be had now. Great job off the bench by Marco throwing the triple there,
Mm-hmm.
and then you wonder how close again with Rhonda being player manager, how close Jesse was to maybe getting pulled there with her missing 6. But
Yeah.
sometimes the best moves you make are the ones you don't. And Aaron all over it again, just can't keep keep more than one ball in a row off the nose.
Jeez.
Chop off for Brandon. And
A good cleanup for Aaron there. I mean, it was unfortunate when you get that split. A good half for Smitty to sort of keep the marks or start the marks back up here, especially looking at Mike with that double working and being, you know, still quite close in that match.
And the numbers these teams put up are all the more impressive to me because both centers seem to be very good naturally scoring houses, but there's not much in the way of extra pins or
Yeah.
you know spared split, spared head pins. Because even in a house with lots of kickbacks, the extra counts you get, 5s into 7s, 10s into 12s, they really add up.
I apologize here that the scores on the Venom side are a little bit blurry. I did just try and refresh and we couldn't make it any better. That's probably just a product of either the screen itself being blurry there or the internet being a little bit laggy. So I'll try again here in a second, although I still think we can decipher the scores, so not the end of the world. There we go, and it's back.
Oh, nice.
That was all me.
So, pivotal shot here in the fourth match is Marco's come back to make it close.
Yeah, definitely really interesting in that fourth spot for sure.
And Venom now have 11 strikes in 12 frames.
Yeah, and again, you know, 2 doubles working. I mean, I know they're triples and a 4-bagger, but
Yeah.
we do have a ham bone.
It was an
And a
important
great
ball
ball for
for
Brad
Brad.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge shot for Brad. Yeah, heading into that 10th frame, rock and rollers with those 2 spares and then those 2 strikes at the bottom there. And Jesse with a skinny
Another
little
one.
strike. So again, we have 4 doubles working for them going into that 10th frame. So lots of marks to count.
Wow.
In total, again, is much closer than it was, you know, heading into that commercial break and how we thought things might shake out, right?
Yeah, 13 strikes and 14 frames.
Yeah, that's
Yep, and the bottom 4 all on at least 3 in a row.
yeah, that's definitely not the spot you want to have that 3-pin. So rock and rollers will take that first match. Brandon over Aaron. Bring our scores.
Oh,
Again,
that was a
glitch in the
really good shot by
matrix.
Aaron. Yeah.
Yeah, that's always what I say. I'm like, oh, that wasn't me. I threw a good
It's
shot.
definitely
The ball
not.
just disappeared. Just went through the pin.
That is unfortunate. You know, I mean, at this point, I know they're not, you know, he's still getting the pinfall. So every pin does matter. So, you know, gaining an extra 15 pins per total is more important. But
Yeah.
So big shot here for Brandon. Oh, pulled another one. That's a couple he's lost off to the left.
Yeah.
Just 271 left for him, so a chance for Mike to pat on some points here.
Oh. So still takes that match. If I'm not mistaken, right? My math isn't that off. Okay, I'm still right. Okay. Still takes that match, but I mean, definitely losing that opportunity to take a few more or get a few more points in pinfall with that head pin, but still, you know, you can't fault him, right, for throwing a 300. You can't really fault anybody for throwing over a 300.
no, good solid game. A quiet 300 too. It didn't, you know, quiet. You know, he's only missed 1 corner pin. The rest were strikes here from 4 on till 9.
And I mean, still great in terms of momentum, right? Thinking ahead to that second match and being able to keep building as you go there. So we'll see what Katie can do here. Definitely looking to, throw some good shots. That was a much better ball from her. Looked really smooth, solid at the line. Another good ball
shot.
from Katie. So, and I guess we'll see heading into the second match here. I mean, we will chat with our managers again after the commercial break, what they're sort of expecting that their lineup is going to look like for these second
Right.
matches. Is it going to stay the same as what they're finishing with? Are they going to make any changes here? What's that going to look like? So 3 good balls from Katie. Definitely nice for her to be finishing out that game strong, although she, wasn't able to come back and take that match.
But definitely helped the total.
Yeah.
And the totals looks like it's gotten squeezed a little bit tighter there now.
Yeah, 135 for 5 off the bench. That is solid. And 131 for 5. A tough one there for Shane. Yeah, those bottom 2 matches looking much different than they did a few frames ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Looking the same thing.
I was going to say all over the middle for both of them, right? This entire game. But, a couple of those unfortunate punches for both Brad and Shane coming in the latter half of the game when, Marco and Jesse have sort of just turned things on and had those strikes going.
Marco came in and went 5-8, and then he's thrown nothing but strikes since he's come in. The coach throws you in, go 5-8. Now the coach second guesses himself. Dang it, should I have made that swap? And then he goes off, and the coach looks smart. Good job, Rhonda.
Great coaching decision.
Correct.
Yeah, so this is definitely sort of shaking out to be sort of the opposite of, I think, what all of us were thinking when we went into that commercial break.
Yep.
Yeah, because we've seen a 250 pin swing here in about 4 frames. Good count there. So Marco's going to get that game up to 276 potentially.
I think Brad's down 1 ball, isn't he? I think here. 194.
So he's got 285 left.
Yeah.
And Jesse has 284 left.
And then in terms of total, I was like, Jesse still has the ball in hand. And
oh, shoot.
Okay.
So strike there could have gotten them to 1,300, but that wouldn't have been enough because Jesse would have only needed to hit something.
And she did. You didn't jinx her. Good job, Steve.
No such thing.
No, there isn't. I've been told.
Yeah, I would say Steve is a big proponent of the fact that the commentator's curse does not exist. And I like to follow that logic, but I know some others do not. And will
totally
get mad at us
Steve.
for saying things. Okay, so total for the Venom is 13.
13.
Yeah.
And 1275 for Rock and Rollers.
Okay.
Wow.
And 12.
Really, what a job by Marco coming in 218 for 6 frames, and once he started striking, everybody at the bottom of the order
You betcha
followed suit.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right. Well, with that, we're going to go to our commercial break quickly here, and then we'll bring our managers back in just for a quick chat before we head into the second match.
Cargill is proud to be supporting a truly Canadian sport like 5-pin bowling. We look forward to watching some great competition from many competitors and bowling centres across our country. With hundreds of locations across Canada, Cargill is committed to helping the Canadian farmer thrive. Whether it is selling commodities, getting agronomic advice, fertilizer needs, crop protection, and marketing expertise, Cargill is here to help. So please enjoy this bowling. Thank you.
Financial freedom begins with financial literacy.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I'm thrilled to be a sponsor. My journey began as a teacher because of my deep passion for education. I brought that same passion into the financial world to help families achieve financial freedom. Financial freedom isn't just about having more, it's about knowing more. That's why I'm here to help you make smart decisions with insurance, investing, and lending, all in one place. I'm Dave, and together we'll help you achieve financial freedom.
All right, we're back again. So we're going to bring in our coaches just for a little chat before we head into the second match here. As a reminder, Venom took that first match. I mean, I think things sort of switched in terms of that momentum heading into the commercial break after the first 5 frames. But
they must have had a big group hug.
Literally, that's exactly what you said they should do.
Big group hug.
You know.
Let's ask Rhonda.
I would say Rhonda. So what did you do to kick some butt after, the first 5 frames there?
Oh my gosh. Well, we made the one change with Marco, and then I just, I trusted guys to play their game, and they just they made me so proud to watch that come back. Like, we were down 150 thinking we'll just try to get as close as we can, but man, it was
Was it a big group hug, Ron, to be honest? Did you guys just have a big group hug?
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
adult language, warning.
Shane, you know what you got to do this second half, right?
It's not happening.
Yeah. What do you mean?
You know,
and this is what happened. This is why you guys didn't get all those strikes. Ron has a big group hug.
It's a risk we're willing to take, Henry.
So Shane, any sort of changes you're looking to make heading into that second match in terms of regrouping, getting things going, sort of knowing what you need to do to clinch that spot heading to the finals of the Cargill division?
Yeah, we missed the middle more than we normally do, and didn't get anybody on like a big run, like 2 and 3, and nothing to match Marco anyway, So we failed to get that run going. So we're going to make a couple of switches, and hopefully it picks us up.
Yeah, for sure. So Shane, what's your lineup looking like for the second match here?
So we're going to go Brandon Tibbs, Mitchell Williams, Katie Wells, myself, and Brad. And then we'll have Smitty and Courtney on the bench.
Awesome. And then what about you guys, Rhonda? Any changes?
We're going to start how we finished. So Aaron, Mike, Matt, Marco, Jesse.
Yeah.
And so it'll be Bob and myself on the bench.
Great. Awesome. Well, Best of luck to both of you guys, and we'll see you again after this next match.
Yes. Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
All right. So I know probably there's very few new viewers here with us, but I'll run through our rosters again just really quickly. So for the Fraser Valley Venom, they took 6 points that first match. We have Bob Herman, Aaron King, Maddie Harms, Mike Warren, Jesse Bailey, Marco Sang, Dakota Heth, and then Rhonda McDougall, again, who we just chatted to, managing as well. And they're bowling out of Scottsdale Lanes in BC. And then for the Rock and Rollers, we have Shane Shave. Oh my goodness. I can't say Shane's name today. This is terrible. I can't look at it anymore. So we have Shane, Brandon Tibbs, Brad Glynn, Brandon Smith, Mitchell Williams, Courtney Lucas, Katie Wells, and then managed by Shane. And they're bowling at a Plaza Bowl in St. John's, Newfoundland. Now I'm gonna, be really nervous about saying Shane's name.
Don't feel
I don't know
nervous.
why
You see, it's because
it looks like a tongue twister to me.
It does.
So no surprise with the Venom there. I expected them to finish the way they started, or start the way they finished, and then expected a move there with the Rock and Rollers. So we'll see how this pans out. Again, they've got to be disappointed with their finish, but again, win this game with 6, and the difference is only 38. But that last game was definitely interesting because for about 4 frames, the difference was only 130 to 160 the whole way, and then the bottom 4 on the Venom just went several frames without not striking, and a couple hiccups on the Rock and Roller side, and it changed that fast.
Yeah, if you ask Henry about what they sort of did differently, it was that they had a big group hug during that fifth frame commercial break.
They had to do something because they weren't playing as a team, and they weren't throwing a good ball. And I get it; it's not really a team. I go up and throw a ball. But I think it just you play for each other and you have a big group hug, and away you go.
Yeah, definitely having Marco coming in, and obviously that first ball was 5 miss 8, or that first frame he bowled, and then just throwing that huge string of strikes like that just breathes new life into the team and gets sort of the energy flowing.
Yeah,
a great push for Katie there. Thought it might be a dreaded head pin.
And great for Mitchell there, coming in, starting this game with a strike. It's always a big boost. And you wonder, last game, didn't really want to ask her because you don't want Jesse to think about it, but how close Rhonda was to putting herself in for Jesse on the bottom there, and how different it might have been. I mean, Rhonda's a good player too, but Jesse, I think after the first week, the Venom struggled and they slotted Jesse down there, and she has been unbelievable since. And that just makes their lineup that much deeper when she's on the bottom, and all of a sudden you can have Mike Warren second, Matt Harms third, and Barb Herman fourth. And Aaron's a great leadoff. So
yeah, for sure. Definitely, again, going back to that player manager sort of discussion that we had earlier, knowing that, you can play in that bottom spot if needed, but you can also play elsewhere in the lineup, depending on, where you might need to make a change and who else is on the bench with you. So definitely lots of considerations to be made, obviously, as a manager, and then even more so as a player manager. So the Rock and Rollers getting off to a little. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was going to say. Right now, the Rock and Rollers are probably just gripping a little bit more. They're just, so far you've got 1 strike in the first 5. They're feeling the pressure. They just got to relax a little bit and maybe have a group hug, Shane.
Yeah, 5 middle hits, so you can't necessarily complain about that, but definitely just a little bit heavy on the middle, not freewheeling like you're used to seeing from the Rock and Rollers. Hopefully, they'll be able to sort of loosen up and get things going here like we've seen time and time again throughout the season for them. And then, Venom just has to keep things going like they did that last match, finding that momentum
and that missing the 2 corners is what's going to frustrate Tibbs and Brad there. You don't mind throwing good shots in the first frame and not getting strikes per se, but you hate missing corners.
So Steve, from a manager's perspective, what's like the most frustrating thing to sort of see one of your bowlers do? Is it like going up and missing like your corners multiple times? Is it, pitching it like, or do you really not care?
No, it's as long the effort is almost always there. It's the little mistakes like going through the hole if you pick and you're on a strike, losing count that way, or just if the focus isn't there or they're letting the previous shot dictate the next shot, stuff like that. I mean, we're all human. We all make bad shots at the wrong time. We all miss. But yeah, it more if there's mental errors or just a lack of focus, that would be what you don't want to see, and that would be when you would remind them. Like you're not going to someone miss a corner, you're not going to say, "Hey, hit that next time." They know they've got to hit it. But if someone's not as focused as they should be on their next shot, or kind of lackadaisical and leaving pins up and count, that's when they're going to get told.
Yeah, telling somebody, "Oh yeah, you should spare your corners." It's like, well, crazy idea. I never thought that I could do that. But yeah, you're right. Just that focus is really important, especially, you're on a strike and you might pitch it, and then making sure that you're resetting, refocusing for that next ball to capitalize on that count and to get some marks flowing.
Venom, we're carrying on. This is a big shot for Mitchell. He makes the spare. So far they're 0 for 3 on spares. He needs to make the spare, give a little life back in the team. There you go.
Yeah. So Katie's going to be looking to find some of that energy, momentum that she found at the end of that previous match there, with finishing things out with that turkey. Shane is getting the ball out of the gutter. I didn't see that at first. I was a bit confused. So we'll just see the quick little score correction there for Katie, and then she'll be up to throw her first ball in the second frame.
So if you're the Venom, I think you just want to keep the momentum going and keep totals on your favor and keep the pressure on the Rock and Rollers. If you're the Rock and Rollers, you also want to get a good start. And I think
That's a good shot.
Yeah, great ball from Katie there.
What we've always talked about, if you've lost the second game, is get ahead totals and make them look for matches.
Right.
If you get the other team to all of a sudden like, oh, we're losing in totals, now we gotta, what matches are we winning? Then you want their focus to switch from playing together as a team to kind of start playing as individuals, thinking, oh, we need to win 3 games and we're losing 3. We've got to, you want to get their mindset off of team play if you can. But easier said than done, and both teams are veteran.
Yeah, but that's really good, Steve. That's really good advice, because that's not even something that I would have thought. I mean, I'm still young in the coaching aspect of it is make them think about individual matches and not just throwing as a team. So that's really interesting for anybody out there who is listening.
Yeah. Free insight from Steve. Didn't need to pay for that information.
And they are all veterans and they are all good bowlers. It's not like, one person is, but that mindset, if you can even put just a little glimmer of, something in somebody else to change their mindset just a little bit, you're winning. That's what you want to do. Get them off their game. Whether it's a group hug or whatever,
Yeah. Henry's coaching advice that's free is
Henry's coaching advice is
group hugs fix everything. Yeah, just hug it out. Even when you hate your teammates. I'm joking.
Steve's coaching advice is, get ahead and make them think about individual matches. I mean, don't worry about the matches. Let's have a group hug, guys.
Yeah, 2 different types of coaches. The dichotomy of coach.
I've never
Mitchell
seen
there.
I've never seen that in a manual, Henry, but I'm sure it's in someone. I'm sure there's one somewhere.
That one falls down for Mike.
Henry's written his own manual, so
I have a manual. Don't worry about it, Steve. Most
Attaboy.
of it's pictures because I don't read, but I've got some pictures in there.
Pictures of people hugging each other.
Yeah.
And a
Another
good
big
job for
spare for
Mitchell to
Mitchell. Yeah.
cover that spare there. Keep those, keep the marks working, but then also keep that good count going, even if you're not getting that strike. Leaving a corner and covering it is, not half bad. A little bit of a pitch for Maddie there. Going to be looking to bounce back.
Doesn't quite bust it up. I thought it was going to cross enough to get away with a chop, but
Yeah,
no such
definitely
luck.
threw a little bit more aggressive there for Katie, but we'll be looking to clean this up, especially with Maddie being open in that frame as well on the Venom side to keep things close here.
That looked like he's stuck there a little bit. Now, last
Yeah.
time out, he had some footing problems, it seemed too, but every time he stuck, he seemed to get a strike.
Yeah, so that's one of those things, like if you thinking, from a bowler's point of view, not necessarily from a coach's point of view, if you stick and you still throw a strike, does it get in your head as much as if, you stick and you pitch it? Because I know like I've had that happen before and it's like, well, I'm still throwing strikes, but I feel really uncomfortable. So do I really kind of want to think about it or I just want to let it happen?
That's a tough one. I know if you're on a bit of a run and you throw a few strikes, then you throw one that you either bounce or is really thin and you get away with it.
Yeah.
You don't want to think about that and change anything for your next shot because all your shots before that were really good.
Mhm.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, we'll just pretend that was perfect, just like the other ones, and move along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
Footing
like,
is
let's not think
tricky.
about it. Yeah.
But you also want to be careful, make sure there isn't a problem with your shoe or something that it's going to happen again.
Yeah, to clarify, if this happens to me, I do look at my shoe. I don't just like
Well, I was just going to say
act
it's
like
definitely
nothing's happening.
yeah. No, everybody, if you pitch it, you
Oh.
definitely go down, look at
Well,
the
that was
shoe,
a
and
Jesse really busted that one up there. It was a great ball from her.
Yeah, at first it looked like we were going to be happy with the corner, and then that.
Yeah, then it just, fell off the face of the earth. Sorry, Henry, we interrupted you in your
no, that's
discussion
good.
about
I
the
do
shoe.
that. Like if I you pitch it, and I don't know how many times I've seen people look down at the line, slide their foot a couple times. It's definitely not the bowler. It's always the shoes. So nice shot by Brandon there.
Yeah, great shot from Brandon. Definitely going to give him a little bit of breathing room with Aaron punching out the head pin in the fourth frame.
And Aaron hasn't missed yet. I'm not sure he's had a double. He just can't go a few shots without throwing one on the nose, and he's thrown some really good shots for corners.
Yeah, he's definitely been all over the middle, throwing some great shots. So Mitchell with an unfortunate head pin there in the fourth frame. We'll see what Mike can get up to here. Obviously, looking to create a little bit of a gap in that match to make sort of a move with pinfall. And another big jump from him,
Oh,
That's interesting. I didn't see a replay on that.
Okay,
I thought
I'll go watch.
That was
looked
right.
late.
That was right there, but I don't know if it went before the
I don't
shield.
know I don't know if it was when the shield, so I'm just gonna get up here.
I thought it was pretty good, but
Oh, it was, yeah. I mean, it may have well, but I was watching it, and then it seemed I looked up at the top because I seen I was trying to see Mike's score.
Oh yeah,
to see
that's
if he-
no, that was fine. Yeah,
Good.
totally kosher. Yeah, totally kosher.
That
It
was a
just
late
wobbled
fall.
and then
Wow.
was like spinning and then just kind of went over. Yeah, it was good for 4, and that gives us a little bit of a delayed ham bone here. for
We had
Mike
to double
with,
check
you know,
people. We had to.
we had to double check that it was fine, and it was. So we're all good.
Yep, and I even took a screenshot, and you can see the pin completely down with no shield in sight.
Perfect.
Which doesn't tell you that the machine hasn't triggered, but to
That's not the rules, though, is
I
it?
know.
No.
No.
Yeah, but you could see it was sort of spinning on its base there before it just fell over. I think that's the first time Marco has missed the middle since that first frame when he came in that last match. So things slowing down a little bit on both sides here with those 3 head pins for the rock and rollers and a couple misses here. Those 2 head pins and Marco with that 5 and that pitch on the Venom side as well.
So if you're the rock and rollers here, I think your rallying cry is going to be that they've only got 2 games going right now.
Mm-hmm.
That there's 3 points that are right now in decent shape to go get, and yes, you're down 51 this game, but that's still less than 100 total with 6 frames to go, and we saw how quickly things changed last game.
Very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the Venom compared to the Rock and Rollers in this exact same sort of position in the last game, right before we got into that 5th frame going to the commercial break, like they were down not an insignificant amount and sort of like bounced back, had that group hug during that 3-minute commercial break and just came out absolutely firing in the second half. So like there's so much game left.
There is, and there should be a ham bone before we go to the 5th frame. Perfect.
Oh, there we go. Henry's catching me slacking.
Don't worry, Jesse. She was talking, Jesse. It's okay. We got you. They Venom looked like after that first 5 frames of the first game, a little timid, a little bit not sure. They're walking up there with authority, throwing the ball, like all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely looking really confident and really strong up there. The same as they did in those last matches of the season to, make it into the playoffs.
Right.
When they went 7-1, 7-1, just walked up there with authority, knew what they needed to do, and threw those great shots when they needed to. And then we have another ham bone for Brandon Tibbs up top for the Rock and Rollers as well. So I think Mike knew that as soon as he let go of the ball.
Yeah.
See a little chuckle when he turns around.
Yeah, and that finished last game for the Venom. The game is so much easier if you've got a couple people going.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've got 3 people going, where even if you're losing your match, if everybody else is rolling and things are starting to, you just pick up, you feed off of everybody else. And conversely, how often do you see it where the whole team's struggling and, and then everybody's pressing because they think they've got to throw 3 or 4 strikes in a row on their own
To try to make up for everybody else struggling. Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
I hate to use the same analogy all the time, but you can't hit a grand slam with nobody on base.
Hey, it's a great analogy, so we'll never complain about you using it.
You can say it as much as you want.
We have someone else saying, let's go, Venom. Is there anyone in the chat who was watching from Newfoundland? I do recognize that it is later in the day there. But, we always love to see the support of our 5PL fans from across the country.
It's only 9:45. It's not that bad.
Yeah, I was going to say Newfies
but
go to bed early.
Yeah, but if you're Henry, you'd be in bed already.
True. Yeah, but that's me because, I'm gray in my beard. I'm not Newfie, though. If I was Newfie, I'd still be up.
Okay, that's definitely,
Right?
what the limiting factor is.
Nah, the Germans, they need their sleep. They get grumpy.
And a good strike for Shane there. Definitely going to be looking to fix a little bit of that pattern with the headpins and the strikes heading into the second half here.
Down 60 heading to the anchors, but Jesse's got 2 strikes to count.
Yeah.
Brad walking himself off the lane.
And another great ball for Jessie there. Give her a little Yahtzee, and we'll say, as we do in Calgary, Daddy's home. For those people who
Nice.
absolutely hate when I say it, I'm
I love
talking
it.
to you,
Yeah.
Mr. Tyler Titgat.
Oh, he doesn't like that? Oh, good. I bowled in the league with him on Thursday. So next year when he comes back,
Oh yeah, can you please say
I'm
that?
gonna,
Yeah, please say it to
I'm gonna
him.
say,
He
no, I
says
got
it's
you.
I'm his sleep paralysis demon when I say Daddy's home. So
Daddy's home. I'm gonna say it as soon as they
yeah.
see him at the lanes. I'm like, Daddy's home. He's gonna love it.
Oh my God. So as we head into our commercial break here, we have 5:34 for the Rock and Rollers. They have those 2 strikes working and that 1 spare working. And then for the Venom, they have that double working there at the bottom with Jesse starting off with those 5 strikes. And then we have 3 other strikes in their lineup for a 624 total. So we'll be back for some more good bowling in a few minutes here.
Cargill is proud to be supporting a truly Canadian sport like 5-pin bowling. We look forward to watching some great competition from many competitors and bowling centres across our country. With hundreds of locations across Canada, Cargill is committed to helping the Canadian farmer thrive. Whether it is selling commodities, getting agronomic advice, fertilizer needs, crop protection, and marketing expertise, Cargill is here to help. So please enjoy this bowling. Thank you.
Financial freedom begins with financial literacy.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I'm thrilled to be a sponsor. My journey began as a teacher because of my deep passion for education. I brought that same passion into the financial world to help families achieve financial freedom. Financial freedom isn't just about having more, it's about knowing more. That's why I'm here to help you make smart decisions with insurance, investing, and lending, all in one place. I'm Dave, and together we'll help you achieve financial freedom.
And we're back again for the second half here. I'll be looking to see if the Rock and Rollers can bounce back a little bit. Definitely some ground to make up. Thinking back to the previous match where they only took 2 points, and then also looking to possibly catch in total if they are not able to, get those 7 points, if they're only able to get 6 points. I think we might have just lost the stream. Just give me 1 second here.
Definitely looks frozen.
Yeah, so give us 1 second here. See if we can get this going again.
And coming off the break, thanks again to all of our sponsors. Rhonda with Venom, of course, is a title sponsor for the league. We appreciate all their support, and if a group hug doesn't work after the 5-frame break, that Norse landscaping music will get you going.
It definitely gets you fired up, that's for sure.
We look like we are paused.
Oops. We are paused for 2 seconds here, just while
I'm here.
I
Here.
fix
Here,
this
here.
out here. I know. People get to watch me be a little bit stressed trying to figure out how to get
Don't be
things
stressed.
going again. Well, no, I want to watch bowling.
Well, I do
Oh.
too, and it's coming down to be a good finish. So
No, it definitely is. We just, they needed a couple extra seconds to, get that group hug going, get everything,
fair enough. I'm telling you, Shane.
settled.
Hug it out. It's
Yeah.
gonna work, Shane.
Okay.
Shane's not a hugger. I took that from him the first time. First time I ever met him, he's definitely not a hugger.
We'll say, Henry, do you just try and hug everyone that you meet? Is that
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and this match was going very similar to the previous, where totals leaning a bit on one side, but lots of matches up for grabs, and Rock and Rollers looking to do what has happened in two of the other semifinals, where teams have turned the tables on the team that won the first game.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it so many times already, right? In the playoffs this year, where we had teams like, I think about your Mayhem game, right? Where you
Yeah.
had that first match where it was 1-7, and then you guys took 7.5 that second game. So we are back now. I think we're good to go. So we'll
Perfect.
let our teams know so they can continue.
Nobody wants to watch us. They don't mind listening to us, but they definitely don't. Well, maybe you two.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, me stressing, trying to figure out what on earth is going on with the stream and why it's not working. Definitely much more exciting to be watching some bowling. So,
yeah,
True.
we are all good and back.
And for those who were expecting the ladies' podcast and the melodious tones of Katie and Tracy, those are not the sounds you're going to hear from me and Henry. Maria, perhaps.
That is a good point.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, but I mean, Steve, I don't know. I'm pretty sure we're better looking than Katie, but don't let her know I said that.
I mean, now it's on the internet forever. So.
Oh, Katie knows I love her.
So interesting turn in that second match now. Great job by Mitchell. Not easy not playing the first game and then coming in knowing you got to win. And, he's thrown all good shots, just hasn't thrown a lot of strikes, but got the last strike. And with two opens there by Mike, that game can go anywhere now.
And that's 3 in a row for the Venom. So hopefully their hugs didn't wear each other out.
And hopefully they didn't hug the strikes out of each other.
Exactly.
And in that bottom match for the Rock and Rollers, Brad wasn't throwing bad, just not being able to get strikes. I mean, he did miss
Right.
5, but I think part of the thinking there too is you got a weapon like Brandon Smith, as well as we're gonna have a move for
A change here for the Venom in the 7th frame here in that 3rd spot. We'll see Bob Herman coming in for Matty Harms.
Yeah, but sometimes even if someone's throwing well, you the score is still the score, and if the opponent's on a 5, you got to find strikes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be curious to see even if if Brandon, if Smitty doesn't throw a good frame here, whether they do the double pull and go to Courtney. But again, he's only had one frame and he punched, so long way to go.
Yeah, thinking about the hypotheticals, right, already. But definitely, I mean, lots of considerations to be made. And I mean, sometimes you do need to run through all of those possible scenarios, right, when you're making these decisions, especially in matches that, it's do or die. We're in the playoffs. If you lose, you're out. So.
And I can confirm that very much more goes through managers' minds than what the average person might see. Wow.
Oh, and
in.
popped over the corner. Still a great run for Jessie to put both her match in a really good position and then also total, giving them a little bit of a cushion there as well.
Yeah.
So again, 6-2 Venom the first game, 38 pins difference in totals. The first match right now, Brandon Tibbs. A fair lead on Aaron. The second match, Mitchell's making a good run to come back against Mike after Mike's quick start. Third match, fairly close. Striking 6 for Katie. Bob Herman's coming in the 7th. That fourth match, the difference is 17 in Marco's favor, both on doubles. So, and Jesse with the big lead in that fifth match. 4 frames to go.
So we'll see what the Rock and Rollers can do here, looking to reset a little bit, start things off strong in that 7th frame with Mitchell. I mean, obviously Brandon throwing that head pin is never what you want to see. That's not the kind of double that you like seeing. And that looked very skinny from Mike, but gets a little bit of movement at the end there to cover that shot. So that leadoff match is now quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Rhonda's. Yep.
Rhonda is asking.
Letting us know about the. I think she's just letting us know about the poll.
Oh yes, we saw that.
Yeah, we all
reacted at the exact same time.
Responded simultaneously.
Sorry, Rhonda, we got you.
Sometimes we're too busy, chatting about all the great bowling that we. I was like, that's not Bob going in for Matt. That's Rhonda on the lane. It's a great ball for Bob after, getting pulled in that first match with those unfortunate 3 head pins in the first 4 frames that he was in. So we know that Bob can throw strikes. If anybody can on that team, it's definitely Bob Herman. So he'll be looking to, make a bit of a move in that 3rd spot. Match is still incredibly close, especially now with Katie punching out head pin. See a comment here. Would love to see some more playoff drama, so maybe a little bit more exciting. These games are always such nail biters. What I'm getting from this is that Tyler wants me to say Daddy's home again. He wants people to throw strikes.
Well, there's also not much playoff drama when teams throw almost 3,200 for their 2 games there, Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler.
Yeah.
Not everybody can be as good as
call
next
out
gen,
the
okay?
good bowling.
So great bounce back by the Venom so far in this frame.
Yeah, definitely what they're looking for. And we'll see what Jessie can do here as well. Back on the middle, a little bit too much on the middle with things. Not that she actually was ever off the middle, but off the side.
I think Shane needs a little more mustard on his ball, I think. Or at least every 3rd ball. He's like strikes and then punches the head pin. He just can't seem to get anything stringing together. He's always got to break up the.
Yeah, I mean, as she was saying in that coach's interview, manager's interview between the first and second match, right? They haven't been able to string a ton of marks together. I mean, Tibbs at the top, his 4-bagger in the middle of this game has pretty much been the only string that we've seen.
Yeah.
In both of these games, right? And
Yeah, and in the first
Brandon.
game, Shane and Brad had 3 in a row early on, but once they broke off and Venom went on a run, Rock and Rollers just could not string anything to stay with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a matter of hitting the head pin or not. They're definitely all over the middle, pounding the middle. Betty would say it's just they're not getting that carry, maybe pushing just a little bit too much and getting a little bit punchy.
Little over adjustment there, probably for Brandon after his double punch there. Back with a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, but at least that 5 miss is spareable. And Aaron just getting absolutely roasted on that left corner.
Still hasn't
Still
missed,
puts
and
him
I don't
in.
think he's thrown a double.
Yep, I think you're right, Steve. And still puts him in a good position for his match here in that leadoff position.
Big shot for Mitchell.
Mm.
Oh, and that
And
was
that's probably
a
the
very nice
first count.
squeeze.
It wasn't even really a kickback. That's probably the first, 12 count or,
Yeah.
head pin chop off we've seen today. And that was just, bounced off. There's, like you were saying, Steve, there's not a lot of pins flying around on here giving you extra counts on marks.
Yeah, no, both teams playing pretty much on even footing, I think. Great spare for Mitchell. Michael have to throw
Yes, I
a
mean,
mark to stay with him.
Oh, now I was watching it leaning, and then down she goes.
yeah. Seems to be the story of today for Mike and those shots.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking about our matches and how they're sort of sitting at this point, obviously those first 2 matches are still very, very close. Tibbs has a little bit of an advantage in that first spot. I mean, Katie throwing that head pin did not help. Bob with a little bit of a slip there at the foul line.
A little quick
Um,
there for him.
Yeah.
I was told that Shane is bowling like Justin Tibbs. So if anybody was wondering how Justin Tibbs bowls, just watch Shane right now.
I mean, he did
But,
throw a
he,
4-bagger in there, so.
but even Justin was like, I'm not that bad. Shane's just he's just off a little bit. And it's it could be half a board, it could be just one rotation on the ball, the way it comes off his finger. Could have been, what he had for dinner.
And and that's the tough part because his strikes are so good. And he throws some good strikes, and then and this is where it's hard because you can't afford to miss.
Yeah. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say if Shane had just given everybody a big group hug, I bet you they all would have been striking out. But that's just me.
That's Henry's, sage coaching
Yeah,
advice.
it's probably why I'll never coach Team Newfoundland. But
every other province, he's
every
ready
other
to coach
province,
you.
no problem. They're like, let's hug it out. Let's go. Poor Team Newfoundland. Nope, we're not hugging.
And we have
We will finish last.
Yeah, we have a hand bone there for Marco again. Just absolutely turning things on here in the second half of the match. Just
He only needs 14
really
strikes, 2 hand bones. That's pretty good.
Yeah, can't complain about that.
So rough frame there and they're going to get a chance to sit and regroup here as we get the lane fixed. But right now, down 140 with a bowler to go for the Venom. Top match.
Yeah, and I mean only.
And it's got a bit of a lead. Mike with the doubles taking the lead back a little bit, although still close in the second match. Third match dead even. Fourth match a runaway now for Marco, as is the fifth match. So, the Rock and Roll are going to have to put a finish here to get back and get totals.
We'll see Jesse up here pretty quick now that that tangle has been fixed.
Mm.
And
You'll still be up. I was going to say close to 160, but 150-ish.
yeah, definitely not a bad position to be in, although I'm sure she's, not super happy with herself after obviously, playing a bit of football and, having a field
Yeah,
goal, but
those are
also those
two
two head
field goals
pins.
were good.
Yep. But
I think
those pair of
one of those was
head
from 45
pins.
yards.
Yeah.
Ah, shoot. See if Brandon can get something going here.
Yep, they're going to have to throw a couple doubles here to get back into it.
There's Aaron answers Justin Brandon's double. Sorry, Justin. I know you're not bowling. I kept saying Justin all day. Jeez. We know Justin wouldn't have thrown a strike there. That would have been definitely Brandon. So Mitch
That was
has
a
played
great ball
really
from
solid,
Mitchell
eh?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming in the second match, just throwing some absolute bombs, being all over the
Yeah.
middle, doing great in that second position, and putting himself in a pretty good spot in that match against Mike.
Yep, and coming in knowing you're playing Mike, who just had a big game the previous game. Oh, good for Mitchell. No doubter.
And there we go. Shane finds the side of the head pin. You can see, obviously, not looking the most impressed with that. I mean,
No.
No,
you're not in the best position match wise. You're
Well, think he averaged three. He had the highest average in the league this year at 305.
yeah,
Yeah,
308 or something, whatever Steve said
308.
earlier. But still, I mean, over 300. So absolutely
Yeah.
insane. Great bowling. So Courtney went in for Katie. Shane has, made it clear that if they need to restart, they don't mind. That's totally okay.
You do a bit of a double take there, but
yeah. As long as they weren't trying to put in one of the boys just with a wig on or something. And Marco just, the very skinny little shot to cover that chop off. Looks like it was almost the wind that blew the pins over, but as long as they fall, it counts as the spare.
And good for Marco. Didn't play a whole lot in the regular season. Not his best season. We all know how well he can play, and to come in and just give them the spark that first game to kind of help turn that whole match around, and then come back with a really good game starting. Good for him. And again, just shows
Yeah.
the depth of the good teams in this league.
Yeah, so definitely looking a little bit dire for the Rock and Rollers here. Match-wise, I'm not sure if they can get to 6. Well,
They haven't thrown the white flag in right now, but
no, definitely not there
it's
yet. But
definitely starting to wave in the wind.
They'd have to go off the sheet and get a lot
and
of
hope
stuff.
that they get
Yeah.
Well, we do have Brandon taking his match though, so we do have one other point here on that side. Ooh, not 32 points.
We have some breaking news. I was told Shane just hugged somebody before that last strike. So
Insider information. Okay.
yeah, that was insider information. So there might be something to it.
Well,
Mitchell
I
looks
guess we'll
like he
wait and
still
see
has
here.
a chance. He needs to
Yeah, he's got 3:15 left.
we're both getting strikes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, so that ham bone for Mike there with that strike.
So Mike can get 60 for 319. So Mitchell would have to bang out, and Mike would have to miss badly and not hit something on the next ball. Or
Oh, or
yeah. Or do that.
Ooh, or
well,
do
you would have
that.
given him a
Which
Okay.
better
chance.
now?
See?
Yeah. Still great game for Mitchell though, especially coming in that second match,
Yeah.
having not played in the first one. So
And solid 632 double for Mike Warren.
Yeah, that's a solid day.
again, we have Courtney in for Katie now in that third spot. And Bob with the punch in 10.
Oh, and she jumps the left corner.
Yeah.
Still enough to take the match.
Yeah, their max now I think is only 1243, so totals completely bleak at this point.
Oh,
Well, at least that's a different letter for Shane. It's either H's or
yeah, I
X's.
mean,
He hasn't had anything else other than that.
yeah. Oh my gosh, that was quite the late fall for Marco there, but he's been
And looking at when that sub was made, I know Marco's first frame in, he goes 5-8, and
yeah.
he has been on fire ever since. And I really
Yeah.
honestly, Steve, you're saying I think he's, I wouldn't say, it is a team game, but that really sparked the Venom, and he's, good for him coming in, sitting on the bench and waiting his time, and did what he had to do. And I think he really sparked the whole team.
hmm
Well, and absolutely,
Yeah,
and,
really.
and like no small feat coming in the 4 hole and knowing you're replacing Bob Herman, knowing you're coming in against Shane Chafe.
Right.
Yeah, it definitely just came in, and you saw a big sort of momentum shift on that Venom side, and just how helpful and instrumental that has been to sort of having that momentum change. I mean, if you look at how things are finishing off now versus how they were looking after the first 4 frames this evening, right?
Yeah.
It's totally different than what we might have been expecting things to shake out like. So
Yeah, definitely. If you would have, after the first 5 frames, said, can you predict the outcome? I don't think there would have been, too many people. Not saying that Venom couldn't come back, but they just looked like they were rock and rollers. Were okay. We're good. We're set. We know what we're doing. Away we go. And one quick little spark, one little change, and all of a sudden the snowball started rolling the other way, and it's hard to stop it.
a total of 2441 for the Rock and Rollers, and then we have 26, 26, 26, 28. Am I right in that? I think I'm right in that. Oops. All right, so with that, we have the Venom advancing to take on Steve and the Mayhem here in the Cargill Division Finals and the semifinals of the entire league. Big shout out, congratulations to Rock and Rollers on a really amazing season that they've had so far, and we'll definitely be seeing them back next year and looking forward to seeing what they can do then. So we'll bring our
they really set the standard throughout the year. Led pretty much wire to wire. It's about the 3/4 pool. The Misfits had a couple extra games on them to count, and that's the only time they weren't in first place the whole year. So obviously a great year for them.
So with that, we'll bring our coaches back in here really quickly for a little debrief. Hi again, Rhonda. Hi again, Shane. Congratulations to you guys, Venom, on a great evening. It's still really early for you guys, though. You guys can, go out for dinner now. Which is nice.
Yeah, it's 10 to 6.
It's not even 6 o'clock there. We should still be working right now.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And Shane, obviously sort of a tough way to have your season come to a close there, as you were saying after the first match, just couldn't get anything strung along. You guys were pounding the middle in that second game, just couldn't get anything to go. Any reflections on those matches?
We are the Toronto Maple Leafs of the 5-pin league.
Great analogy.
No, I mean, they went off in the 5th or 6th frame of the last game and done that for a game and a half, or 8 or 9 blocks, and by the time they were done, we were done, and we had no one going. Mitch and Brandon, had a okay finish there, decent game, but we were never really in it, so it was a great game out of Venom, and that's it. Maple Leafs.
For sure. And Rhonda?
Thank you. I'm just very proud of these guys and how well they've played this. The 2 games to get in, and in the playoffs, they've just been stellar. And I haven't had to play myself really at all, so that's been amazing.
Well, we kind of had sorry, Steve. We kind of had a conversation here. We think the TSN turning point was the Marco sub. Like,
right?
Once you put Marco in, I don't know, and it's odd to say you put it on one guy because it's a team sport, but it all of a sudden it just kind of lit a fuse and everybody just kept going off, and there was nothing nothing you could really do.
Yeah, no, Marco's been stellar in that come-in role, and he struggled a little bit through the regular season, but he found his game at the Open, and he did exactly what he did all year last year. Like, you bring him in, and he threw a 5-bagger almost every time. It was unreal, and so it was good to see him back on that again, because it had been missing through the regular part of the season.
And
definitely really spectacular to see.
And just curious, Rhonda, you said they didn't need you today. Were you close to going in for Jesse that first game?
Yeah. Well, I was looking at 2 lines in that first game, and I did throw balls, and then, but I just I have so much trust in the guys that are in there that I don't know that I would do better. So unless it's like really, need to do it, I just let them figure it out and go. Yeah,
and once she threw that double and got off.
100%.
And then just kept going the next game. Commented some of the best moves are the ones you don't make.
Right? Exactly.
It's always easy after the fact.
Totally.
All right. Well, with that, we'll see you guys, Rhonda and the Venom, back here probably in the next couple of weeks to take on Steve and the Mayhem. And Shane, again, congratulations to you guys on a really stellar season overall. Obviously a tough way to finish things off, but looking forward to seeing you guys back here again next season.
Yeah, for sure we will. And thanks everyone, like you guys, for doing this, and good luck to Steve and Rhonda next round.
Shane, are you Mitch Marner? Are you going to another team next year?
I mean, I don't know if anyone's going to take me on that contract now, Henry.
I mean, you're really good during the regulars. You're really good during the regular season. When the playoffs come around, you just kind of disappear, eh? It's like
I need to
Mitch
get one.
Marner there. It's like,
I need to get one of those bridge deals now. I got to take a 2-year bridge deal to
hey,
grow.
hey, I do maybe know another team that could maybe, oh yeah, let's go, boys.
Oh my gosh.
Or take on the group hug, right?
Yeah, group hug.
Yeah, there you go.
Group hug. Yeah, did you hear that? Group hug. Okay, later, guys. Thanks,
See you
Steve.
guys.
All right,
Thank
awesome.
you.
Have a good night, everyone.
Okay, guys.
Thanks,
You too.
everybody.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys all again here in a few weeks here for the Mayhem Venom match.
Cargill is proud to be supporting a truly Canadian sport like 5-pin bowling. We look forward to watching some great competition from many competitors and bowling centers across our country. With hundreds of locations across Canada, Cargill is committed to helping the Canadian farmer thrive. Whether it is selling commodities, getting agronomic advice, fertilizer needs, crop protection, and marketing expertise, Cargill is here to help. So please enjoy this bowling. Thank you.
Financial freedom begins with financial literacy.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I'm thrilled to be a sponsor. My journey began as a teacher because of my deep passion for education. I brought that same passion into the financial world to help families achieve financial freedom. Financial freedom isn't just about having more, it's about knowing more. That's why I'm here to help you make smart decisions with insurance, investing, and lending, all in one place. I'm Dave, and together we'll help you achieve financial freedom.